Hello, welcome to Data Analytics Colloquium 1 Hour Series. So this 1 hour series is to introduce some special topics or some special workshops to the students and the participants on data science. Today we are really fortunate to have Dr. Jey Veerasamy of University of Texas at Dallas Computer Science Department. And Dr. Jey, I call him Dr. Jey, and is the director of the computer science outreach for the University of Texas at Dallas. And this center has been established. He founded the center for 7-8 years. He offered thousands of courses, I think tens of thousands of courses, and to so many students. It could be tens of thousands of students too, from K to 12 to college students to graduate students. And he's particularly decorated professor in providing data science and computer science training. And today, Dr. Jey is going to give a special workshop. I call this a data visualization with JavaScript. And actually, he's doing more JavaScript with processing. And without further ado, allow me to introduce Dr. Jey. Hi, Dr. Jey.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm really glad to be here and virtually. And one of the good things about it is obviously as I go through these examples, you can anytime pause and you can catch up. You can play around with few things. That's a good thing. So what I'm going to focus here is the building blocks. So I know as students in public policy and all that, you are going to handle a lot of data, and you're thinking about how to show graphically, a very nice visualization. So here, really, this p5js is a really wonderful state-of-the-art, continuously being developed. This platform. So last time when I came to Taiwan in NCHU, I showed the Khan Academy JavaScript. That's what we worked on. That's a very kind of a little bit dumbed down version, I would say, very introductory type of. It's good, but just that doesn't have a lot of modern features. So that's a really great stepping stone. But this one is easy to step on, and also it has tons of stuff to integrate with the web. And this p5js.org, that is the website, p5js.org. It has all the libraries, references, and we'll probably go there too. And but the editor is at editor.p5js.org. That's where we will be using. Okay. Again, the key thing is it has a extremely rich set of pre-built building blocks, and which are basically library functions, and that enable us to really write very small programs but get things done very quickly. That's what we want, right? We don't want to write thousands of lines of program to do something small visualization. So even computer science students don't like that nowadays. They also want to. That's how software industry is, right? Compared to like 10-20 years ago, right? So like thousands of lines of program has become more like 10 lines, 20 lines, 30 lines now. So that's great. You can write less and can get things done. So I'm going to start with the p5js basics, and immediately I'm going to show you a visualization. When you are working with some data in earlier days, we just used to see the data and we're happy with it, right? Now it's a lot more interactive, right? We want the user to kind of interact and see. Maybe it's a 3D. We want to see in all angles, all kind of stuff, right? So here is a very simple interaction. Basically, speed of mouse movement. How do we characterize when a user is moving the mouse, how quickly, right? It's pretty simple, right? Let's go to that interface, and we get started. So this is the p5js website, and that editor, clicking on editor will take us to editor.p5js, and this is download a version. You don't need that download anytime soon. That's really for if you want on your own server, so you don't need to worry about that. Reference. Reference is where all the functions are explained. I didn't know there was something separately libraries. Okay, so that's it. Looks like these libraries are more extension libraries. Okay, so this is the p5js reference, what is already provided. In addition, you can include the other libraries too, more advanced libraries. Okay, so this itself has plenty of stuff, so you can see color, various shapes, say environment, structure, and DOM, the JavaScript, working with the web, rendering. These are all advanced stuff, foundational stuff, transformation, handling data. You can see just by looking at it, you can see how rich this environment is. Events. We are going to use some of these events.
Wow. Yeah.
Touch, image, IO, JSON. I don't know if you heard about JSON. It's like a data formatted nicely, JSON and XML. Wonderful stuff to work with existing data. That's a very nice way of formatting and transferring data between programs. Math functions, cannot do much without math, right? And one of the math that's maybe it's random. That's what I was looking for. I don't see it right here.
Random.
Not much happens in life without random, isn't it? If there's no randomness, there's not much in life. The randomness is what adds brings life to life, I guess.
Yeah. Not much on the statistical functions.
Say it again.
Not much on the statistical functions.
Statistical function. I think that may be under libraries. So this is
you can go to library.
A really basic building block. You can see some noise and some create vector and stuff like that. That's possibly we have. Let's quick look at libraries. Sound library, some accessibility libraries, some ASCII art, some image stuff, libraries, devices, sketches, DOM manipulation, BART, Arduino thingies, and clickable. That's a color space, collide, create. We can see how much dimension. I think it's a 3D. Easy cameras of function. Okay, geolocation and Jibber. There you go. Some music and all that. I wish I'm a student again with a lot of time to spend time on all these things. Many times we don't, unfortunately. Graphica, GUI, local messaging, vector. There you go. Finally, we are getting there. YAML5, Mappa, static maps. There you go. There is in the YouTube, there is a series called Coding Train. You can search for. So there is a wonderful guy called Daniel Schiffman. He puts out all this coding train. See, you can right away it shows P5 and all that. He has this one has all the right there. This is the one I was recently watching. Machine learning based. When you draw something using this model, it will tell you what you have drawn.
Wow, yes. Wow.
So that's a wonderful video to watch. ML5JS. It's based on this p5js environment. Pretty advanced, but that shows pretty advanced, but not with respect to number of lines of code. I think he wrote around 50 lines or maximum 100 lines to be able to classify. Can you, if you can make that as a product, we can ask the child to draw something, right? And computer will tell you what it is. So it's a very interesting way. So that I'm sure he is using this library. There you go. So thanks for that question. So we are able to kind of dabble on and see all this. It's amazing set of extra libraries. So that's how the software is nowadays, right? There's so much is out there, it's very hard to know everything that's out there, whereas compared to the old days where C programmers, there was just 100 functions, you can even memorize them.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so back to our business, right? Back to
Right.
we'll get started. So this editor, when I click on editor, it will kind of come to this screen, and that's kind of default. That's how it shows. And let's see. So the basic things, you can see this is the output area. You can say run right there. That's a 400 canvas area, and you can control that. I'm just increasing the zoom so that you can see my code better. And yeah, there you go. I have really zoomed in so that we can see the code.
It's legible, well legible.
Yeah. So now one of the thing is it behaves a little bit like Python. Python doesn't require semicolon, so this one also does not require semicolon. So that's nice because we want it to be more like real language, real English like, so less problems. But this one, this is very, very flexible. So amazingly flexible. You can make it any size. You can make it full screen and all that. I am. How do we make it full screen? The challenge in making full screen is that we do want to see the code. See, you don't want to make it a full screen right away. So what I'm going to change is first thing is just back to our 100% mode, regular mode, and then okay, let me see. What's the best? We still haven't to see the code. Okay, so that's a window. This window size we can make, or display we can do. See, these are all predefined. Display with, see, once it kind of shows in that kind of color, the special color there, that means it understands. Display height. There you go. So now it is showing, you see the scroll bar, that means it's using the full window thing. I'll just show you soon how to make it the full screen. Okay, so you define one more function here, the setup function. As you can see, it's for setup, and this is a draw is infinite loop. We'll be using a bit more for, ignore that for now. Mouse pressed. When mouse is pressed, let's make it full screen. Why is that? This way, when I can escape, I can come back to this and I can code. So that's how they got done. So I'm going to kind of click on this. See, now it's full screen. And scroll bars are appearing because I am not in 100% mode. Now, see, once a 100% zoom mode, they basically without zoom, really, right? 100% setting. Then you can see this full screen, whole screen you have for working with, which we do want to, right? We want to use the full screen. Okay, so I'm going, so I'll be kind of zooming and zooming out, so that you can see the code properly. You don't need to do that. Okay, so the background, I'm going to move this to the setup. And because this draw, this is for setup. This draw is being invoked again and again, animation 60 times per second. Okay, draw gets invoked, and the mouse, this is event triggered, so event triggered mouse press. Anytime you press the mouse, this gets invoked, right? So right now, we really don't have a good need for draw. We'll just say bye-bye for now. So we don't need it. So we have set up the canvas area. We have that background color. In fact, you know what? Let's change the background, because this is a grayscale. When you say one number, I'm going to say 0. See immediately how it updates? That's because this auto refresh is on, right? If you don't have auto refresh on, then it will not update. Okay, see, I changed the number. It won't update until I run, so it's good to have auto refresh on, unless there's a good reason, we won't do that. So, okay, now it's black color. Okay, Now we want to see how quickly we are moving the mouse. Mouse related functions, several functions are there. One of them is mouse pressed, another one is mouse drag. These are all predefined, implemented under that, what did we see? Reference. You can look it up, mouse dragged there under the mouse. So mouse pressed is invoked when you're pressing the mouse. Mouse dragged is invoked when you're pressing and moving around. Okay, so let's see. Let's start with a very small ellipse. Circle. This guy supports circle also. Mouse X, mouse position, mouse the mouse X, mouse Y, right? Let's say 20. Okay. Now I'm pressing and moving. Okay, that's good. Now, when you go fast, see, they become kind of far away. See, that's because the system is really sampling. System is really sampling at the standard rate, some specific rate. So if you go very fast, you can see the circles are far away, right? So that's good, but we would like to represent this little bit more better, So how we can represent this the speed a little bit better? One way we can do is somehow we have to bring the speed into this circle, right? What if you can make the circle diameter, proportional to the speed? Right. So for that again, p5js provides this mechanism. Mouse x, mouse y is the current point. P mouse x, p mouse y is the previous sampled point, previous sample, a previous location. Previous mouse location. So I should be able to find a distance between both, right? See, as we move around, if you move very quickly, previous sampled that mouse position will be a bit far away, right? So how about we compute the distance? Distance equal to, again, you guessed it, there's always a function for everything. So distance between mouse x and p mouse x. One of the thing in software development is use copy paste heavily. We don't want to write a lot of code. Whenever possible, copy paste. That's the number one skill to become good in software development, right? Don't try to write everything. Okay, now we can use distance. Right? So what we have done is we found the distance between current mouse position and previous mouse position and was a circle diameter. We are using that. Okay, I could have written it in one line, by the way. I could have just used this in place, then you don't need this variable. Okay, but in general, it's good to kind of break things down. Why load up one line, right? So that it's also more readable, because let's say you're doing some code, let's say somebody else is going to look at it. For them, it's easier to read when you write it in very simple statements. So I'm going to click here again. We go full screen. And before that, let's see. Click here. Whoa.
Wow. As a moon, huh?
Yeah, because I was there for too long. So now we can see it kind of looks like a big.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, as I move faster, right, you can see the circles a bit. Let's redo it again. How about we provide one more function, key pressed, any key pressed, and basically we clear the screen. You saw that unexpected things happen, so kind of let's do the key press. So okay, yeah, see, now I'll key pressed. Yeah, that way it clears key pressed, and yeah, there you go. So now, of course, you're not limited to this sizes. You can also scale it up, scale it down, and all that. See, I'm going to move very fast, so it kind of looks like a beads or something, so that's visualization, isn't it? I mean, that's a very simple visualization, of course, but maybe you can differentiate between impatient users and very patient users, Some student, my child goes like this, You can differentiate such people. Maybe you can determine, whether user is younger or older. So again, that's pretty much the program, So let me go over this again. This is a setup for the canvas area. We wanted to use the whole screen, so we said display with display height. You can also say window width, window height. Then it will use only this window, this side. So if you don't want to use the full screen is nice, of course, but you do need to do some extra coding like this, to make it full screen active and all that. Okay, so that's a mouse press. We just made it to switch to full screen, and the mouse dragged. As you drag, we are finding the previous mouse position, right? Previous mouse position, and we may be able to kind of work out the kinks. In the interest of time, I'm not going to do all that. So if we spend time in this, pretty much all 45 minutes we'll spend here. I want to move on. Okay, but at least I hope you understand the gist of it. We simply find the distance between previous mouse click to point and this point, and we use that as the circle's diameter. As simple as that. Okay, let's see. Modern art frame. Again, this is really a basic example, but I think you can probably work in something related to what you do. Maybe you can bring in some change it to fit to what your needs, but it's going to teach you a lot of building blocks. That's what I want to do. It's a very simple modern art frame. Let's do that. Okay, so this one, before we go there, we'll change. It comes up with some weird name automatically. I'm going to change the name. PD circles. Okay, so that's a save. The good thing is that once you have the account set up, you can save everything in the web. So, and it will have the link also right there. You can share the links with the others, all that. Okay, so I am going to put all these programs in a collection. When you do open, it does show a collection too. So there's a collection. I'm creating a collection for you all, so everything will be inside this. Okay, so I'll take care of that later. Okay, now we go and do new again. So now we are going to do the art frame. Nice art frame, right? So modern art frame. Okay, so this one, I think I won't go back and forth between full screen, just to show you a different thing. Let me use the window width. Basically, I'm just using this window height. Okay, and usually it always comes up with a non-run mode. So go ahead and click on that run. And by the way, the grayscale 0 to 255. This is a slight gray, so you can see, you can put 100. It'd be very kind of dark gray, and if you put a 0, it's completely dark. Okay, so that's a grayscale. And what we want to do is draw kind of bunch of rectangles. Okay, bunch of rectangles here, and that's what modern art is, right? You might have gone to museum, you see kind of bunch of rectangles, So let's see. For that, how we are going to do rectangle, of course, and then we do need to specify some position, rectangle X, Y, and width and height. Okay, 4 parameters, right? If you ask a child, hey, go ahead and draw a rectangle, the child will look at you, how big, where should I draw? So that's what the parameters are. We are passing in all that parameters, right? And let's say 100, let's say 100 width and 50 height. There you go, right? Right there. That's 100 by 100. By the way, this is the x-axis. This is the upside down y-axis. Okay, so this is the x-axis. This is a y-axis. So in your graph paper, first quadrant, but it's upside down. Okay, so this is a high y values and similarly high x values. So this is 0, 0. So okay, in computer science we tend to do things a little bit upside down at times, so due to historical reasons. It's to do with the memory mapping and all that. Okay, so the rectangle. Okay, but that's not much of an art frame if you draw one rectangle, right? Let's make it, this draw happens again and again. So let's make it random. How about we draw random of width anywhere along that x-axis? You see that bunch of rectangles being drawn along the x-axis. You can do the same for y and say height. See, this is a width. Width is basically window width and the window height. So by using the width and height, the program remains very generic. Okay. You can see that all the rectangle sizes are exactly same. So maybe I change squares. Of course, if you do a square, there's a mechanism square.
Oh.
Okay. So, and another thing you notice is that usually it even interestingly seemed to take based on the current setup. That's nice. Okay, that's good. Let's see, stop and rerun. One thing you'll notice is that this side is a lot more dense compared to this left top. That's because we are specifying the top left corner. It's possible to change the rectangle mode to make this as the center of the rectangle. For that, use rectangle mode center. Stop and run again. You will see the behavior difference now. Now you see the left and top is kind of similar to right and bottom. Okay, that's nice. But what about all the colors? There's no color. I know there's a lot of black and white modern art, but it would be nice to have some colors. Yes. Fill 3 parameters. I hope you guys know why there are 3 parameters. If you do 1, it's a grayscale. See that? You get all grayscale colors, black to white, right? So if you give 3, welcome to full color setup.
Why 3? This is RGB?
RGB. There's also another mechanism, HSB, also you can use.
Why do you use 3?
Say it again.
Why do you use 3 instead of...
Well, I mean, RGB, right? That's a red, that's a green, that's a blue.
That's RGB, random RGB.
Yeah, and there is actually one more parameter, transparency. You can use transparency to make it even more fancy. So okay. You know what? Let's just quickly check up reference. There's so much information about that too. Fill. Yeah, see, you can do a search. There's so much here, so you can see there's a 4th number. No,
okay.
Not here. That's a grayscale. That's a RGB. That's a HSB mode. HSB mode. You can even say red. Wow, that's impressive. So
by name.
Name by name, and you can specify the hex code.
That's a decimal.
Yeah. See, that's a fourth. That's what I was looking for. Fourth parameter. That's basically transparency. Transparency. So let's, and that one goes from 0 to 1. Now you will see a difference. I hope. No. Maybe it's a little bit more there. Yeah, I see. Okay, that's not 1. That may be to do with HSB. So let's go 256 all the way. There you go. Okay. So now you see the transparency effect, right? So looks more classy, I guess. You know, so okay, so let's kind of expand this to do really truly random rectangles. So far we used random with random height. Now we will use random with 2 parameters. We don't want 2 skinny rectangles. So, I missed it too close. Okay. By the way, when you write very long line,
Triangle. Yeah, the previous one look.
Go ahead.
The previous one looked more like squares.
Yeah. So this one is rectangles. Just to reduce the confusion, I'm going to remove this transparency. So
Yeah.
keep it simple.
Now these are real rectangles. Rectangles.
Yeah,
That means
it's basically a bunch of rectangles, and obviously it's a drawing, and the program itself is not keeping track of. See that? That's one of the things in visual program. Sometimes what you display does not mean that program remembers everything. Program doesn't. It's like a child drawing a rectangle. It just forgets about what is already there. Okay. So how about we do a, that's too many rectangles, isn't it? Once we reach particular number, we can stop or we can restart. So right here we have frame count. That's already a existing variable called frame count. Let's say every 100 rectangles, let's say we want to reset the screen. Remember, it's a 60 frames per second. So it happens pretty quickly, every 1.5 minutes approximately, right? So you can slow things down a little bit. If that's too fast, frame rate 10 instead of 60. See? Now it's a bit slower. It's 10 frames per second. Now it will take 10 seconds, right? 10 seconds to reach 100. So, okay. How about, after 100, how about we really want to stop and do a nice frame and stop? Sure. Let's go ahead and stop after 100. Then you can actually say probably, I think you can say once you see, of course we won't say 100. Frame rate 100, we can say no loop, meaning let's see it works. Draw should stop. There you go. It stopped. Okay, so that you can marvel at your creation. How about putting a nice white frame? Okay, let's do a nice white frame. Fill 255, right? 255 is the white color, and let's try a tiny long rectangles here. Rectangle 0, 0. I guess now the rectomode center will go away. We go back to rectomode corner. Okay, that's a default mode, corner mode, 0, 0, and maybe then 50, height. Let's see how this works. And based on this, then we can decide and finish the rest.
Can you control the speed of these objects?
Yeah, that's what the frame rate is here.
Yeah.
Frame rate specifies how much, how fast you want it to.
Yeah, make it slower, because you heard of this thing called trypophobia?
Yeah, I mean, you can do 1 per second, but just that's going to take a long time, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so you can tune it the way we want.
There will be like a phobia with all these intensive things showing up, and that's trypophobia. But anyway,
Yeah. So rectangle. You saw the kind of nice white rectangle, thin strip rectangle. So with 50. Let's see what that. And we have to do probably 2 more rectangles. I'm basically trying to put a border basically around it. Yeah. I don't want this line either. So see all this kind of nice steps we have to do. No stroke. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of complete that rectangle. And let's see, width minus 50, 0, I think. Then minus 50 is somewhere here, 0 and 50, height. This is the width and height again. And similarly, last one is here, right? Bottom, 0, height to minus 50. So 0 height is this point, 0 height minus 50, and then you go all the way. Let's look at it one more. There you go. That's our modern art with a frame. Now we can sell it for $1 million, become rich.
You can try. Something you heard about this term called generative art?
Yeah. So you can see you already got an idea. In fact, if you're displaying in a museum or whatever, we can also kind of regenerate. You can clear now and then and generate. There are a few things very easy to do. For example, see if this is too orderly, you can do, for example, here, reset matrix. And you need even reset matrix. Translate, if you want kind of various angles, let's say we want, so rotate random of pi. Now, by default it works in pi. We can also change it to degrees. Actually, you know what, let's go ahead and change it to degrees. And then we have to say angle mode degrees instead of variance. Okay. Now that we have gone to some place and rotated, now you do expected to rotate. Forgot to put random. It rotated 90 degrees, so you get one more rectangle. That's all.
One more parenthesis. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
90-degree rotation is no good, There you go. Kind of looks like a small cut paper thrown. We may need something more here. Now that we have messed up with the translation, it's almost like shifting paper or shifting your pen above the axis kind of changes, right? There you go. Now it looks like a child's act. Okay, we spent a lot of time in this, so I'm going to save this, change the name. modern art frame. Okay. So I don't know how much time we have for the next one.
18 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to skip the bouncing ball and do some pen-based artwork because I think that may be more of nice visualization. Um, Again, I have a lot of example under this. You're welcome to go to this and browse through everything that's available. So there is one called even cyber flowers, based on some letters, how flower like structure. One guy gave a presentation yesterday. It was amazing. So it's there in my list. So let's do pen-based artwork. Maybe other things I'll just show in the end. Maybe just take a couple of minutes and show it. Okay, pen-based artwork. Okay, and so I'm going to, before I close this, I'm going to kind of copy it. That way I don't need to type again. Okay. So what we want to do is pen-based artwork. Well, remember the mouse-based. We're going to kind of press and draw, basically, and mouse dragged. And we already did this one. Ellipse, mouse X, mouse Y, 10, 10. And make sure you say run. Then we already saw this one, right? Mouse dragged. Wherever you're dragging, a small circle.
Circles, right?
Yeah, it's basically circle. Okay. The reason why ellipse is stuck in my mind, the Khan Academy uses ellipse. So if you say circle, then obviously you don't need to say two parameters. But ellipse, you need width and height, right? Yeah. So it's the same thing.
It should be ellipse instead of a circle, right? The previous one.
Yeah. So the rectangle, similarly for rectangle, we use whenever, if you want really ellipse, of course you can use the ellipse, so.
Yeah, ellipse, of course, they have different parameters, 10, 20, instead of same number. It's the same number. That means
yeah. So, okay. And how about, I want to change the color. How about, let's see. How about I draw N, C, H, U. How about we want each letter to be in different color, right? See, right now everything is white, right? So one thing we can try is fill random 256, fill random 256. So now let's try again. Now your university became way too colorful. Right? That's not what we want. Right? So it's amazing how much the power of this statement, where you put, makes a big difference. Let's go ahead and put this statement in the setup instead of mouse drag. Let's try again.
Oh, wow, that's nice. One object at a time.
But now you're stuck with that color.
But it's the same color.
Yeah. So what we really want is, when you press the mouse, we want the color to be selected. See, that way, when I press one color, again, when I press, it's a different color, right? So that's why we do need to use the correct functions and the code in the correct place. Let's go ahead and put that here. Now it's going to select a color, I'll write a comment. It's by the way, it's always a good idea to write comments. Since I don't have much time, I don't write many comments. It's always a good idea. Select a new fill color every time mouse is pressed. So when I'm pressing, right, then I am just moving, right? See, pressed, and I'm dragging the mouse. Now released it. I'm pressing again.
Oh, different color. Yeah.
Different. When I'm pressing again, it gets a different color. You see this black lines, we can make the black lines disappear. You can say something called no stroke. The pen color will disappear. So that way, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Most of my students, as soon as I teach this, they write their name in a fancy way. Hey, why not? But that's not what I was going after. I want to do some artwork. So what I want to do artwork is basically wherever you press, right? Similar way, where you pressed and we kind of selected a color. Wherever I press, we do want to select the color, but I want to kind of connect to the other places basically. So let me see whether I can explain using a drawing here. What I want is wherever I press, let's say you're moving the mouse wherever, that we want the lines to be drawn like this. As the mouse is moving, we want to draw the line from where we press the mouse. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So when you're pressing the mouse, we should remember that position. Okay. When you press the mouse, we need to remember this position. Since pressing happens first, I'm going to keep it here. And wherever we press, we want to remember. So press X equal to mouse X, right? Wherever we pressed, mouse Y. So mouse X, mouse Y, remember, we are not going to do circle anymore. We are simply going to do line. Line, mouse X, mouse Y, press X and press Y. And also, there is nothing to fill. This is a pen color, right? So we remove the no stroke. And the pen color we are selecting randomly when you're pressing. Then you remember. Then now as you drag, we are going to draw a line. Okay, ready? Pressing. Okay, I'm just keep on dragging. So now I'm going to do the same thing from this corner. This corner. I didn't select properly. Every time I'm pressing, it is selecting a different color. Of course, you can have some fancy approaches and you can do the color selection by yourself. You can even have a color selector, make it really, really artistic thing. So
Interesting. But the color is randomly selected.
yeah, so the color right now we are selecting randomly. Yes. I am computer science professor by, I just learned C++, Java, and I knew zero art. Now I teach for ATech students, arts and technology students, UT Dallas. So they have taught me how to think artistically, how to enjoy the art. And this environment obviously helps me a lot to kind of play around and learn so much about really art, so.
To add on that, ATech is a school in UT Dallas. Its full name is Arts and Technology. Yes, there's a school teaching students combining art and technology. A lot of them are computer science or technology or the coding, programming. Yeah, so this is a major and also a school in UT Dallas.
Yeah, so we used to actually teach them using C++, Java. They went like this. Oh my God. because they are not really most computer savvy. The programming wise, that type of student, they're more art students. But nowadays art is moving so much towards technology, isn't it? It's all
Indeed.
generative art and all this all technology drawings and everything, so they need to know. So
Yeah.
this is what we teach. We have 3 courses, in fact.
Yeah,
One is
ATEC is primarily training students to create computer games, video games, and simulations using the
yeah,
technology.
and also to make dynamic web pages, right? Dynamic web pages, you have to use the
Yeah.
JavaScript and all those things in the back end. So okay, so that is our let's go ahead, change this. I don't know what we called it. Pen-based artwork. Okay, save it. So now that we're kind of running out of time, I'm going to kind of quickly pull up something that's already there and show you. This is the bouncing ball I wanted to kind of work on. And so that's a 600 it's using. Yeah, so it's basically the using the edges as the bouncing. We keep track of the ball, where ball is, x and y, and we have a give some speed, x speed, y speed, randomize when you're hitting the wall, randomize the speed, and this is the positive speed, x speed, and negative x speed, positive y speed, negative y speed. When it hits the top, color changes. See right here, top edge alone, we change the color. See. Okay. And let's see whether anything else interesting I can show. I want to show one image. Yeah, so one image based example. Here is the you can load the images also. I have a Dallas image and flowers image, and here, and let's see this one. I can now that I learned about display width, I can use that. Okay, so that's the Dallas. Okay.
Downtown Dallas, yeah.
It's not going full screen. Key press. I got to do key pressed. Okay, so you can see that's a Dallas downtown, and there's another image, flowers image. What I'm going to do is make the buildings, scratch off the buildings. Whatever I'm scratching off, that's being replaced by the other image. It's almost like scratching off and revealing the image below.
Are you doing a touch screen computer?
Yeah. I mean, you can do using mouse too. I was doing touch screen. You can do mouse also.
Okay.
It's a yeah. There you go. You can do something like that. So you can do some contours. You can see basically what I'm doing is actually wherever mouse is, I'm just drawing a small square area there. That's what I'm doing. Small. Let me kind of show you the code. So here, mouse dragged, wherever mouse is 20 by 20, I'm getting the image from image 2, which is the flowers image, and showing that basically. Okay. What is the full flower image? Let me show you that full flower image. So that way you know how it looks. There you go. That's what that full flower image is I'm using. Okay, so you can work with multiple images that way. Okay, and I had
and create a function to do the splash the first, right?
Say it again.
You basically overlay 2 images, and then you create a function to scratch first and show the second.
Yeah. So yes, absolutely. In fact, I have one more Dallas image. Yeah. So here is another one where randomly it's being displayed. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
It's basically randomly it's exposed. Eventually, you will have everything flowers.
This animate like an animation.
Yeah. So okay. So the one last thing I want to show is what somebody covered yesterday. I was very impressed with the cyber flowers thing.
Mhm.
So let's see.
Mhm.
Display with display height. Just full screen. So he was actually, all he was doing is using a one letter. Actually, I think that's a P. I'm not sure. Is that a yes? Hard to say what letter. M. So using a letter and just drawing a J, N. I don't know. Is that a 5?
It's
So he called
basically
it cyber flowers. So
M, right? The letter.
yeah,
The
that
alphabet.
seemed to be a K or a U, G, A, M. It's amazing. We never thought letters will create such a nice flowers.
Yeah. Okay.
So yesterday there was a presentation. Actually, there's a meetup link. I can provide. So if you want to watch the full video, so we do host some people. The presenter was a college student
Mhm.
in New York University, IMA or something like that. So that's basically arts and technology program they have. That's where Daniel Schiffman, one of the main guy in Processing Foundation, he works there too.
What is exactly for processing?
What is
What
the
does it stand for? Processing, is it just the name of the foundation?
Yeah, Processing Foundation, processing.org.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's a Daniel Schiffman.
Mm-hmm.
Processing Foundation. So they provide p5js, and even they provide processing for Python, processing Java based. This processing, in fact, you have download too. You can have a downloaded version, and you can do so that's a kind of Java. So processing, I treat it like a big humongous library with the different programming platforms. You can do JavaScript, you can do Java. JavaScript and Java are most popular. So there's looks like the Python is available. How well developed, I'm not sure. Android and even Raspberry Pi. So
I think it's for visual arts. It said it's for creating visual art, a language.
yeah. So and when you are at it, you have to kind of go and look at the two things. It's good to look at. That's a showcase. I thought there was something called showcase.
The showcase is I saw in the p5.org. Then
Yeah, p5js as a showcase, and here they had download, visit the reference. They also had something more. I thought, see, this is a New York. Yeah, this is the one, New York University ITP. So these are really popular US creative art schools.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, see, you have more. See, right there. See, to see what more people are doing with processing, check out all these things. And p5js, here in the top, they have p5js
Gallery. I call that a showcase. Called a showcase.
Showcase. This shows all the latest stuff throughout the world people are doing and all that. So that's how I kind of approached a bunch of people and give some speeches. So see, you can look at this.
All right.
Lot of school kids too, by the way. This is not all college and beyond. This is a lot, several of them are school kids.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let us summarize. I think it's about time now. Maybe I have a few questions, Dr. J, and now you just demonstrate to us using the open source P5 libraries and also the p5js JavaScript for, I think it's primarily for creating, visualizing data or visual art in general. So, what can you think of an application we can use maybe in social science research or public policy research?
Yeah, so I haven't reached that level yet, but one thing I can show you is this one. I want to go back to the cyber flowers. What this person has done is
Mm,
actually imported data from in JSON format. See,
mhm.
so the colors and see there for each letter how to draw or
Uh,
something. So I can see potentially this data may be coming from some other application, or you collected in a data collection. You can so easily you can just add that file here, and boom, right there immediately available in your program. You can
mhm.
see all you have to say is load JSON. Boom, the
Uh,
data is there, and then when you you can access the data like array, you know.
yeah,
So when it's coming to full-fledged data visualization, I am also in the process of kind of more of a learner rather than doing utilizing it in applications.
yeah. I think the main feature is really easy to understand and use. Just create functions and then run it. And
Mhm.
I think this could be output into like a animated charts in GIF format or in HTML5 format. How
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
what's the output like? The output would be put into
I think you can even record it, internally record it or externally record it. You can use the external tool to record it, but internally also you can save the image in pretty much any format, JPEG, PNG, and all that. You can specify whatever format you want. Anytime you can even with a keystroke, you can save the image, and all that functionality is there.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
what distinguishes from it's not simply a paint or a graphic drawing application. It's all JavaScript based, and also you can use the programming to determine how you draw and what your output will be. It's primarily JavaScript instead of just like an application like a paint. Otherwise, we can use a notepad or a notepad cannot do the paint in Windows. You can do Painter, right? Painter to do the drawing, but that's totally different thing, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's basically that they have the p5js and this processing library, everything together. Uh, what they've done is, pretty much all the functionality that is there with any standard application is there,
Mm,
plus the drawing. That's how I look at it. Plus
yeah.
the all this. Things easy to so which means you can kind of pull Twitter feed. You can you can have probably even multiplayer some communication. You can do something in another screen. I can see what you did, and I can do something. So very multiple people interaction. you know
Mm,
uh, Pretty much anything really. So anything that you do in any type of application, software application, you can do it here. And
mhm.
with this creative extension, that's how I see it. So
Yeah, I teach data visualization. One area I teach is called D3 library. It's also JavaScript, and it's called data-driven documents. And basically, those are the data charts, and to do the D3. And now I think this is more a different thing. P5 is giving more flexibility in terms of designing, visualizing your objects. Yeah, D3 is what I teach.
Yeah, in fact, yesterday I was kind of looking at this visualization. There's something called Creative Blog. It was a very there's a good write-ups there.
Okay.
So data visually. In fact, it talks about actually D3 and the P5, all these mechanisms too. So
All right.
yeah, see right there, this D3,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
So in
D3
fact,
combining D3 and P5. That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so in fact, see, somebody is here talking about D3, hopefully comparing D3 and P5 too. So
Yeah, I think that will be really, really powerful because individually D3 and P5 are very powerful already, but you want to combine them, and this is basically you can do everything you can.
yeah, so I consider something like this. See, you want to reach here. Question is which platforms takes you very close. That way, you need to do only limited extra coding, right? That's what it is. So even a very complex project you're doing, you want to see the which platform almost gets you there. Then you kind of put things together with minimal number of lines of code you want to achieve.
Exactly. Yeah.
But don't be afraid to code, though. I mean, that's one of the thing. You cannot be. We have to code in the end, and so just to try it. It's okay. Makes mistakes, and we can learn. But tons of tutorials available. YouTube. Of course, you need time. Sometimes. So you do need time.
You do the code, and you can replicate it. You can repeat it and as many times as you want to. You don't have to start over again. All right. Thank you. I think we have over an hour already. This is really informative, and it's really eye-opening to me too. And you learning the P3, learning the P5 libraries. And thank you very much, Dr. Jey. And then, do you have any words you want to say hi to our friends in Taiwan?
Yeah, when I told my daughter that I'm going to do presentation with Taiwan, she said, "Look at me. When you go next time, can I come too?"
You may
she was
there.
very impressed that I came last time. Yeah, I came last time. Yes, he can program too. Last time when I came and that Boba birthplace, he was very thrilled about that. So again, very nice to meet you all virtually. I will put all that programs in this collection, by the way.
Right.
And okay, so
please visit our GitHub website, GitHub, and also our website is Data Analytics Colloquium, DA Colloquium, COLLOQUIUM.com. And also GitHub is also the same word, DACOLLOQUIUM. So you can get all the materials Dr. Jey just presented, and the sample programs, and also the links, and he posted. Thank you very much. I think we will wrap up here. Thank you, Dr. Jey. Hope you have a great
holiday. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.